Hi everyone, Diana here. And guess who's with me? You'll see Daisy before long. She's right here behind me. We've been out running around, doing a little walking in the woods, and also, whoops, she did a little sliding there. She's trying to get a little bit closer, but she isn't allowed in the front seat. But she's doing her best. Hi, Daisy. We may be able to make this video with Daisy here, but I'm not sure we will. So she's supposed to stay in the back, so we'll see what we can do. Anyway, this is December the 5th to the 11th, December 5th to the 11th, our video of soul messages and psychic predictions, and we'll see what we come up with for this week. Oh my gosh, it is going to be a week of she's fine. Daisy's fine. She's just a little too excited, and you'll hear her feet on the cover that's in the back seat there. But this is for December the 5th to the 11th, and let's take a look to see what we have for you for this week. Okay. Interesting things. Okay, here's the big one. Expect the unexpected that is expected. Expect the unexpected that is expected. I'm not sure what that means, other than there are going to be those things happening this week that we have been expecting and maybe even waiting for, but haven't yet happened. And yet they'll catch us by surprise and come totally unexpected. So this week, expect the unexpected that is expected. A couple of other really important things that are coming up. You know, what's interesting to me is when I'm doing this broad brush thing, when something that I would say to an individual client comes up, I take a look at that and I say, okay, something's going on here that I'm getting it for the broad brush. And two things. One, there's a chance of stumbling. Now, if I had a client and I'm saying that to the client, I would say over the next 3 weeks is what I'm getting, 2 to maybe 3 weeks, there's a chance of stumbling. And I look at that and I say, okay, what does that have to do with the greater whole, the bigger picture here? Because it's not an individual client I'm talking to. So what and does that mean everybody out there has this chance of stumbling? I think there is the physical chance. So just be a little extra careful. If you're hearing this and you heard those words, there's a chance of stumbling. Be a little extra careful. That's all. The other thing, though, is I think it's a metaphor. And as a metaphor, I want to say be careful. There's a chance of stumbling at work, and it's thinking of it as a metaphor as well as taking it literally. So we could stumble over our words. We could try to do something and then it'll be a stumble. It'll be stumbling. The other thing I want to say is people are going to be, and I think this is a broad brush, people are going to be picking fights this week. I don't know why. I think there may be some political things that take place and that's going to create fights. But what I do know is people are going to be picking fights. And you have a choice. You can engage in them or not. If someone's trying to pick a fight with you and you look at them and say, you're trying to pick a fight with me, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to diffuse the situation. However, if somebody is picking a fight with you and you're pretty aware that that's what's going on, just don't react. You know, it's not about what the other person has to say is never about us. It's about them. It's where their life is. And there are ways of just letting that go. One is to breathe. One is to walk away. One is to, I like to make up stories. I'm a storyteller. So if somebody says something to me that calls me a name or is kind of nasty, I just kind of look at them and I kind of think, okay, which side of the bed did you get out of this morning? And then in my mind, I start making up a story about them that, maybe their husband or their wife was mean to them this morning and they need a little extra love and they need to take it out on me. And it's not about me, it's about them. And their anger has nothing to do with me. They just think it does. It doesn't. So watch out. People are going to be picking fights this week. It's just in the energy. Let them pick their fights with somebody else. Don't engage. And if we don't engage, we don't get in the fight. Simple as that. It's just going to be an erratic month. I think I said this before, that this is going to be energy that's up and down and up and down, and we're going to think it's leveled off, and about the time we think it's leveled off, it's going to go. So it's just crazy, crazy energy that we're going to be in this month. And Daisy's coming up to say hello to everybody and confirming that. And she wants some attention. But let's see what Philip has to say. I'll hold it over here so you can still see Daisy. Thank you for those of you who come to listen to these videos every week. I really appreciate. And Daisy loves you. I love you. Philip, for those of you who know, is my guide, my spirit guide. And this is an oracle book. On each page is a different answer, so we just flip through. For those of you who are new, Daisy and I welcome you. We thank you for coming. I want to say, how can I not be happy with this doggy right here, and the other kids at home, but with this one right here, who just insists upon being loved. And maybe that's what we need to do more of. Insist upon being loved instead of allowing people to not love us. We'll just stomp our feet and say, love me, love me. I have to tell you a story, and then we'll go to Philip. This morning, early this morning, my neighbor and I were driving. We're in the car, and we had a destination. So we were on our way to our destination. And I'm just... oh my gosh, look at this. It was a hoarfrost where there's frost on, like all of the weeds in the fields and along the fence lines, and there's frost on the trees, and it was just magnificent. And there was also this heavy white fog. Well, the fog was like the barns and the houses were off in the distance, and all the farms were over there, and it was so beautiful. And by the way, I'm going to sneeze any minute now. Excuse me. All right, excuse me. Now, I call a sneeze when I sneeze or something. Sometimes a client will have an allergy or something, and I'll sneeze picking that up. But what that sneeze is about, and what we're talking about or coming to talk about, is great beauty in the world. And I always say it's my Greg Braden, because it was Greg Braden who I sneezed once, and he looked at me and he said, "What were you thinking about?" And I told him, and he said, "You just gave that belief up. So when you sneeze, we're giving up a belief." Well, I think the belief we're trying to give up here is that there's a lack of beauty in the world, and there's not. There is so much beauty. And this morning out on that drive, I was just, my mouth was the whole drive, because it was so beautiful to see this white frost coming up from the ground, and it was actually creating a fog. Not a dangerous fog. We had a good quarter-mile visibility, and we drove out of it, but because the sun was coming out. And for those of you who have seen that, or at least seen pictures of it, it is breathtakingly beautiful. And you can tell where I am right now. You can see the lake behind me, and the trees are bare of leaves, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And the sun is out. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. So this week, find as much beauty as you can in the world. I don't know that I always saw the beauty in the world. It was my friend Clara who taught me to find beauty. Clara's now in Spirit World, and this goes back many, many years. And Clara was my senior, probably 20 years or so. And we were both writers, so we were in a writers group together. And Clara was just one of those people that was a wise teacher, a wise woman. And we went to visit another friend who was ill. And while we were walking to her house in my youth, I was an adult. I was well into adulthood, but in my need to, we had a task and we had to get in there, and there was a rose bush outside of our friend's house, and Clara stopped, and this rose was just coming into its full beauty, and she stopped and she just took time to smell it, and she took time to touch it and really look at it. And then she turned and she looked at me and she said, "There's very little beauty in this world I miss. I like to see it all." I've always remembered that. There's very little beauty I miss in this world. Thank you, Clara. I'll pass one of Clara's wisdoms along to you in hopes that you're able to see all the beauty that you pass through in your world. Let's see what Philip has to say for this week. We just flip through until we know left or right page, and is that where we're supposed to stop? Something feels a little off, but I'm going to stop there and take a look at the pages. I'm going to start with left page, and then if we're supposed to look again, we'll look again. But okay, here's the left page. Might read the right one too, but the left page is our message. The growth of a garden comes only after many hours of tilling the soil and pulling weeds. The growth of a garden comes only after many hours of tilling the soil and pulling weeds. Oh gosh, is that true? That is so true, and we all know it. That's what we're going through in the world right now. We're pulling the weeds. That's what we're going through in the U.S. Prayers for the U.S. and for the world, because we are going through a lot right now. But this is what's happening. We're pulling the weeds so we can have the garden. The right page says, life is created from within, not from without. That's something that we are going to have to remember over the next several weeks. Life is created from within, not from without. Because it could be a rough time the next few weeks. And so put yourself in those places where you can find the beauty, where you can find the joy. That's not to say ignore what's happening outside in the world. We need to be wise about what's taking place. We need to be wise about how to keep ourselves and our family safe. We are living in some dangerous times, shall we say. But we're also living amidst so much beauty and so much love. Find the love and find the beauty, my friends. Remember, there's a chance of stumbling, so be sure-footed. Don't engage in those fights that people are picking. And make sure that I don't know how you prepare to expect the unexpected that's expected. But all that's going to take place. So from Daisy and me, we love you. We love you. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for adding love to your life and to the world. I love you. I love every one of you. Thank you for loving me. And Daisy, she loves to get your messages. I read them to her. And, oh, sure, she understands every one. Don't you, Daisy? Thank you, my friends. I love you.